Was that the most bullish Tesla earnings call of all time? Yes or no? Who wants to
I'm
go
drunk.
first?
I think Elon sounded the most bullish.
Yeah.
Yeah, next 5 biggest companies.
Yeah.
In a couple
Combined?
of years.
He was throwing some big numbers. We're getting some 100s. We're getting some absolutelys. Yeah, most bullish earnings call of all time. No,
And what
yes, by far.
Elon says, like, he sees a path, and he says it a few times. It means like that's where we're going.
What did he say? I know
He's
I'm the
like,
boy who cried wolf. I'm telling you, you're driving the wolf. We're driving the wolf. There's a wolf.
Yeah, and self-driving wolf.
that was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
But not one question about DeepSeek. Not one question about the models about to be released mid-year.
Yeah. It was all about, it was very focused on Tesla and
FSD.
AI, on FSD.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
We've
Yeah.
made it, folks.
Real quick, he was tweeting during the call. So this is your CEO, everybody. Your
Do you
CEO,
think-
you should
do you
post
think
him during an
he's-
earnings call.
So he's either like at the same time doing Q&A, like looking at his phone or on the computer, typing, processing questions and answering them, which is really hard to do while he's doing that. But I wouldn't, he's a genius. He could be doing that. Who knows? He's got like multiple brains in his head. I don't know.
I'm giving him a hard time, Emmett. I'm not being serious.
Maybe he's got like Grok 3 super agent augmenting his X usage, making reactions for him on autopilot while he's off doing other things.
I just think he's bored of analyst questions, and he's just like the rest of us.
Probably.
He's just bored. And he's like, I just want to go shitpost a little bit. Okay, let's forget the notes. Let's go through people's biggest takeaways. So Emmett, we'll start with you since you're probably the most sober.
Drunk.
I think my biggest takeaway is how confident Elon sounded, how pumped up he was at the beginning about, then he mentioned his 2027 and 2028. I always thought the end of the decade is when like everything's going to come to fruition and Tesla's going to be like, and I thought maybe 2031, 2032, but it sounds like everything's sped up and it's like 2027, 2028 is when everything comes to fruition and they're producing like 100 million bots, humanoids or whatever. And everyone knows that they're just like he calls it real world AI. I think of it as AI embodiment, so I think they're the leader in AI embodiment, and other people call it that. Same kind of means the same thing to me, sort of like embodying AI in physical robots or cars.
Hans, and then we'll go hit Nico. Biggest takeaway.
Oh, I mean, AI is the core focus. That's the bottleneck. He's like, he doesn't talk to anyone else at Tesla besides the AI team, essentially. Like, he spends all his time figuring out how to solve the AI problems. He knows that once they solving self-driving is a big step, but it's literally just the first step that then unlocks Optimus, and then Optimus is a humanity level game changer that unlocks productivity that the world has never seen, and they get to ride a giant tsunami of robot revenues to being the top company in the world by the next 5 combined, like an order of magnitude. Yeah. So Tesla is chome. That is what Elon is saying.
That's what it feels like. Nico.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. Farzad, you literally said FSD June.
Yes.
He said FSD June. Like,
and you were shitting on me. You were like the opposite of supportive. You immediately said bullshit the second I said June. You're like, bullshit, you suck. I hate you.
That's how Why you know am I even like here? You more than everyone else.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So that's just clarifying when he's saying June.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, he's saying they're launching a robotaxi, not like unsupervised for customers. They're literally launching a Waymo robotaxi service in Austin in June.
No, a Tesla robotaxi, not freaking Waymo. Get that dirty word out of here. And Hans, didn't you say there's gonna be a human in it? Did you say that out of nowhere?
Yeah, it's gonna have a human supervised driver. It has to.
I don't think so.
Too many regulations. Too many regulations. It has to.
I hope Texas, that I'm wrong. Mother effers. Do you guys know where you live?
You're from Florida.
Don't worry about it. No,
I don't teach Texas about freedom, bro.
Damn right, we weren't conquered by the Mex.
All right, go ahead before we get demoted.
It's probably done already. Won't see you guys next quarter. Sorry. No, but correct me if I'm wrong, but he said we're going to start with Austin. We're going to dip our toe, yada, yada, yada. But then he said we'll pretty much be everywhere by the end of the year. Didn't he say that?
Well, he said they'll be everywhere by the end of 2026. They'll start in Austin in the summer, in June. Then they'll go to multiple cities by the end of 25, and then they'll be everywhere by the end of 26.
Okay, but multiple cities by the end of 2025.
They said other countries by the end of 2026 too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
correct. He said that
This
there will
is-
be the limiting factor will be regulatory.
Yeah.
like this is it. Like this is 25
Yeah.
is the commencement. You know, like the craziest thing, like I think the most bullish thing about this entire call was not like we think yes, Ron Paul, Elon always
GOAT.
has a little softness around his timelines. Like, yeah, we think based on the data we see, looks like about, like he always has things like that. No. June, we will be released. Like that was definitive.
Precise.
Yeah, and I feel like he's swinging his massive, what is it, SEC? Yeah, hammer.
Podcast is
because
going off the rails real quick.
There's no rails with
A little too fast for
when it's
comfort.
that big. But he said that yes, lots of automakers are reaching out about FSD, but we're not even going to entertain you unless it's in volume. Like
That was a total
huge
power move.
number.
Yeah, that was a great
That's
call.
Totally.
Bye bye Rivian. Yeah, no, Rivian's not gonna do
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
yeah.
no wonder they're doing their own stuff.
yeah.
So I don't know. Those are my two big takeaways. Like, whoa, and that's before even the Optimus or anything. But what does someone a little more sober think?
Well, the Optimus thing was interesting because we actually got legitimate, like for the first time ever, we got, not for the first time ever, but we got some very loose, but at least we got guidance on how to think about how much the business will generate over time. So he had a $10 trillion revenue number out there, which sounds insane, but you have to add an Elon factor to it to bring that up a little bit earlier, right? But you have a $10 trillion number around Optimus long term. You have a 10xing of production year over year, which you'll probably have to 2 to 5x to make it conservative. And then you have a number that's out there that said the per unit cost of bot by the time they reach 1 million units per year will be around $20,000. And so for that, you can now build a financial model now. You have a way to build a financial model.
Mhm.
And so now Wall Street literally has a way to, like, you can make assumptions. You can.
It
What do you
doesn't
know?
exist yet. Gary can't make a model. It doesn't exist yet.
Well, once Gary sells his Uber, after I convinced him on X to sell his fucking Uber stock, literally the worst company, like second worst company on Wall Street right now, outside of like any legacy auto company. They're so dead, it's not even funny. Anyway, and Waymo, put those aside. So, but I think this is the exciting part about this call. And we were, like the conversation before we went live was, and we heard the music. We're like, oh shit, it's kind of upbeat. It's going to be fire. And then Elon came out with a fucking 50 cal machine gun, just like, bop, 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 10 trillion, let's go, right? I mean, he went hot from the get-go. That, I think, is two things. Number one is the confidence about the business, but I think the other thing, too, is really seizing the moment of where Wall Street's trending from a vibe perspective. I think those two things have aligned now. Wall Street recognizes AI as a legitimate thing for Tesla, for any company really, to generate income, and then Tesla just happens to be on the cusp of releasing their very first true unsupervised product literally in June of this year in Austin, with a gigantic ramp into next year, coinciding with a bot ramp where they said they're going to start selling this to consumers, or companies rather, by the end of 2026. And then, so by year 27, 28, with a Trump administration that's going to lower regulation, that is super friendly to Musk industry, okay? And with a broader market that's embracing AI like crazy, how does this not set up for an incredible 3 to 5 years for the story? Not financial advice, but like all those things are coalescing. It's very obviously a thing that's coalescing. So now it comes down to like, can Tesla make an unsupervised car? Can Tesla make a human or robot that's useful? And if you look at the company's track record, that's what they're good at. They're good at executing. They're extremely good at executing on product. They're extremely good at executing on service. They're always late, but they're very good at executing on the core technology. That's it.
So, question for the panel: did Elon not basically just say that BYD is the only company they're willing to license FSD to?
In a loose
Say
way.
hi.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
Hyundai is not even close.
Hyundai Kia is like
volumes.
500,000 per year. No, they're more than.
What Toyota?
BEVs.
Let's get you.
Do you think Toyota's going to do it? No, I mean that's you're asking
Yeah, I
a
don't.
dinosaur
They have-
to.
They're not
Yeah.
licensing it to be put into ICE, I
Hybrids.
don't think.
Yeah, it has to be electric. Yeah, it's got to be electric. That's true.
Honda Kia 7 million units a year. Not small.
But not electric vehicles, 7 million.
But he's
Obviously,
the only
yeah.
other big producer. And other Chinese companies are going up fast too, like Xiaopeng or Li Auto.
Yeah. Let me hit this question real quick. I have multiple Teslas. Y'all obliviate for a minute on when I can roll them out in Austin, Dallas to start earning for me. I mean, so
Next year.
June 2025. The guidance from the company seems like 2026 is a legitimate time for those cars to start generating income for owners. However, what was the big thing that was said on the call too about hardware 3 vehicles? Elon straight up said, let's be honest, if you have a hardware 3 car, you're going to need an upgrade to get to unsupervised, which was something that I personally had an inkling on for a while, right? And Hans is like, no, they're going to do it, blah, blah, blah. They're going to do it. I'm just yanking your chain. But that says two things, right? Hardware 4 vehicles will definitely reach unsupervised robotaxi. And then any owner who has hardware 3 that bought FSD will get their hardware upgraded for free. It might take some time. They should just give those owners free FSD transfer for life of the vehicle. Just do that.
Yeah, that'd be easier.
I bet 80% of the owners will buy a new Tesla. 100%.
As much as I've been a naysayer on this thought, there's a chance hardware 4 vehicles also will need to upgrade, not necessarily for the computer or the cameras, but to install a front bumper camera. We have the ports on the AI4 computer, and I think they may have intentionally done that so that they could easily run a bumper camera, because when you see the Cybertruck, the Cybercab, the new Model Y all have it, that might be something that they think has to happen, and that might be a quick little update. I mean, a camera doesn't cost that much. Go into the shop.
Talking about hardware 4 cars?
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it seems like hardware 4 is going to be just fine. I mean, if you just look at hardware 4 performance of current cars now.
No, what I'm saying, you're not listening to me.
Sorry.
I'm saying is adding a front bumper camera.
Hard to listen to.
They might say that you have to add a front bumper camera if you want to add it into the fleet. And so bring it in, we'll add it. It'll cost like $500. And then you're good to go.
So the hardware 4 computers do have a slot for that 9th camera, right? Yeah.
They 100% do.
So now
it just running the lead.
And
now
so you
I
think
wonder,
that's the specific reason that hardware 3 will have to get upgrade more so than like the computer is just adding that extra slot for a camera?
I think it's mainly because of the megapixel count.
Yeah, but it's so. I mean, like, is the wiring not going to be able to carry the higher megapixel count to the computer? Like, this is where I'm confused. I mean, I guess that 9th, like the wiring.
Then you would have to upgrade the computer.
Yeah,
but again, it doesn't sound that difficult. Just swap the computer. The difficulty is going to be running the wiring for the 9th
computer. It is difficult because the hardware 4 computer is not retrofittable. So you have to if you're going to upgrade the hardware 3 cameras, you have to make a brand new computer
for the
plugs
pixels
into all the ports in the hardware 3 system. And then if you want to add a bumper cam, that's going to be interesting.
I think Tesla might be better off yeah. It's a bummer that they're here, but I think as they'll take care of the customer. It sounds like they're going to take care of the customer, whatever that is. I think there's going to be upset hardware 3 owners out there for sure. But my gut tells me that if you offer owners a free upgrade to a hardware 4 car, like meaning like a free FSD, just include FSD in the transfer for people that bought FSD, 80%, 90% of those owners will upgrade.
If you're a hardware 3 owner and you bought FSD outright, I almost guarantee you anyone who bought FSD outright is a Tesla investor. Now, if you're a Tesla investor, come on.
Doesn't matter.
Solve the FSD.
Nope.
You pay $1,000.
No.
You get
that's bullshit. That's the company is like literally
already. They've already done that.
Yeah, but if you're a customer that bought a hardware 3 car with FSD, you paid $15,000. Think about that. You paid $15,000 for a car where you were under the understanding that would be unsupervised self-driving, and then the company is not honoring that. You have to give them either a free upgrade so that they can get that, or give them an incentive to go to the next vehicle.
What I'm saying is, if you're that person, you're obviously a big Tesla investor, right? You'd agree. If you bought FSD outright, you're probably a big Tesla investor.
But you can't make that assumption. No, I'm not, because I'm not going to make that assumption. No, You're not treating your customer right when you're doing that.
Just hear me out.
Okay, go.
Let's say that's the
I disagree.
case. Let's say they're all big investors, hypothetically.
Uh-huh.
As an investor, would you rather say, hey, yeah, I'll pay $1,000 to not hurt the company financially, potentially?
Crazy. No. That's insane. Tesla's not going to do that. That's not how companies function. That's Elon.
The amount of
doesn't run his
capex
companies
at
like that.
play, like
Yeah.
I just don't think there's that many hardware 3
There's
cars
proof in
out
what
there.
I'm saying. There's no proof in what you're saying.
This is the worst argument you've ever made in your life. Just delete
They've
it from your
literally
brain.
done exactly what I'm saying. They've never done what you're saying. I'm Signal. You're Noise.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on my show.
I'm on Hans's show. My
Congrats, Hans. You got somebody who's dropping wisdom on everybody.
Woohoo.
Yeah, whatever. Here's the positive part, right? Most cars on the road are hardware force by a long shot, and they will be by a gigantic long shot by next year and the following year. But you do have to treat that
Concept,
subset
though.
of the customer base correctly. You have to. Oh no. But see, that's the crazy thing. Model 3s are all hardware 3s up to the refresh, aren't they?
correct.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yikes.
it's majority hardware 3 cars. But I
Yeah.
don't think there's that many people who paid
Bought
outright for
FSD.
FSD who still have
Agreed.
hardware 3 cars who haven't traded it in yet for
go.
a updated car. Like it's going to be some. It's not going to be none.
Yeah.
But it's.
I don't
like
think it's a big
customer-
deal. I don't
Yeah.
think I think they could do
Yeah.
it. I mean, just some labor. You know, they're going to lose a little bit of money on. You know, they have 36 billion in cash. You know, it's like the cost it's going to be to upgrade.
And the amount of
those
money
is like a
Robotaxi
tiny,
is going to
tiny
make.
fraction of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tesla bot.
What are you guys gonna
Yeah.
do with all your money?
Jeez.
I'm like,
we're all
fleet
gonna
of
have
these,
we're all gonna
these
have Emmet
Optimus.
money.
Well, no, Emmet
buy
money
a
is going to
fleet of
have new
Optimus.
Emmet money.
Yeah,
I know
we're-
Emmet's gonna have like Zuck money.
Be careful what you wish for. Put it that way. It's more money, more problems, right? They said taxes are insane in California, and
You're telling me I got a
Everything.
huge tax bill coming up this year. That means it was a great year, though.
yeah, great year. I mean, I think this summer is going to be a banger for Tesla stock. You know, if they smoothly roll out this service in Austin, get some press, you know, people are like, oh, it's going to be in California and other cities at the end of the year, like the summer, the stock could really take, if it's a smooth rollout and it's not delayed. And I think it should be. I mean, Texas is very friendly regulatory wise, and the federal regulators are going to be friendly now that Trump's in power, you know, so I think it should be a smooth rollout. And I bet you they do it without humans. I mean, they're probably going to test it right now with humans, like, you know, but I bet they actually have an official rollout without humans drive in the front seat in Austin in June.
To that point, Emmett, you just mentioned Trump. Like, what do you guys think of the fact that they never brought up Trump? They never brought up DeepSeek. They never brought
Yeah.
I was
Because they're the leader. They're the leader.
Say more. I like what
They
you're saying.
are at the forefront of vision-based AI. They are at the forefront of embodied AI. They're at the forefront of bringing AI to the physical world, which has a TAM that's significantly bigger than the digital world today. And they've been working at this for how many years? They're the big dog.
Yeah.
Is an enabler to Tesla. Tesla's not an enabler to Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that they would have asked something about the progress for federal regulation.
I think it's a
Yeah.
given that the federal regulators are not an issue anymore. I think it's sort of a given, like, you know,
Yeah.
at this point. If Biden had been real or Kamala had been elected, then if either one of those
Uh-oh.
were in power now, then it'd be like, all right, well, we're gonna have some obstacles with the regulators for a while. It's gonna stick us, you know, make us stuck for a while, you know, until we get past these federal, you know, regulations and show the data and blah blah blah. Everything would be delayed by another year or two, I bet.
Farzad's
Yeah.
trolling the comments.
I had to. I actually
You
read a
read-
lot of them. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
tough to bring up because it moves so fast. But
What's in your glass? I got Buffalo Trace. What do you got?
oh, okay. Can I? Will you guys judge me?
This water, isn't it?
Okay, no, you know
Probably.
what? Guess. Okay, guess. Chat, guess what's in my glass.
I probably have an unfair advantage.
You won't know
Forrester.
what it is. Try
I
it.
don't.
Try.
Pete.
Okay. I was
Pete.
going to say Basil Hayden.
Oh damn.
Tesla
Good.
tequila.
Oh
not even
no,
tequila,
that's
bro.
wrong glass, and that'd be
Oh.
mezcal.
Yeah, mezcal, yeah.
Well, I guess you could have tequila, but it's not that color. Actually,
do you think?
mezcal isn't either. Honey Jack.
No, but it is whiskey.
Obviously, look at the glass.
Oh.
One more shot.
What's like really crappy?
I'm reading the
whiskey?
chat. Urine. Somebody said urine.
That's what I
Few,
said.
few people said that.
Yeah.
You know that's the thing that people drink. I know a guy actually might be watching. Sorry, Cyrus,
Oh.
blew up your spot.
He's dropping his name too. What's his
it's a
last
real
name and
thing.
his social while you're at it?
You want to know a funny thing? He actually sold his company to the founder of Whole Foods. Whoa,
What,
things not
Fantastic. It's a very popular brand.
Jameson? No.
Going once?
I see here in the chat we got Wild Turkey, Jim Beam.
Nope.
Jack.
Nope. Nope.
I'm trying to think of something. It's really crappy. Whatever.
It was a
really
gift.
crappy.
It was a gift from my mother-in-law for
Mom?
Christmas.
Oh,
For
it can't be
Christmas.
crappy then.
Now I do know what it is.
Red
I
Johnny Walker
don't want
Blue.
to see. Oh.
Yeah.
You really made that out to be like something a lot bigger than what it was.
Ta-da! You're welcome, everybody. Anyway, Jack Daniel's close. I love how you just pour cold water on that. Somebody dropped what was it? It was been a whiskey that's been like super hard to get for the longest time. What's that? You know what I'm talking about? Is like the one that Eagle Rare, right? That one's like impossible to get here in Austin. I don't know if it's the same everywhere else. So,
Can I just say, I thought the last guy who asked this question would have clarified, because I actually thought it was a really good question that he was asking. And I don't think he articulated that well. My understanding what he was asking was, you're making such big progress to FSD. You got line of sight to, it being real across the world, etc. How are you balancing the idea of new vehicles and producing those versus just focusing on FSD? What do you guys think of that? Because it's
Well, I
here's a
think
question we were
Elon
talking about
did
before.
answer his question because, Elon has mentioned before that he's willing to run the company at cash flow break even, basically saying that they're going to reinvest all their profits into growing unit volumes. But he said we have to focus on battery, like the batteries are the constraints. Like they can't subsidize, like they can't sell more cars at break even then they have batteries. So it's not really like demand or, subsidizing price isn't going to accelerate anything. So they just have to focus on 4680 ramp and, trying to lean on their suppliers as much as possible.
How am I supposed to like really trust every little thing you say and that you actually know what you're talking about when you say stupid things like that? It'd be more economical to give people FSD on Hardware 3 cars free FSD transfer for life. And then Jason says, I think they offered this from time to time, right? And it's like, yeah, dude, but that's not what you're saying.
yeah,
Like
it's okay. I mean,
Not for life.
no, but
I mean, those
for
guys
someone
don't
who-
spend like 100 hours a week studying Tesla like we do. They're like
no,
generalists
but
on
they're
the whole, like,
freaking best
everything.
friends with the guy. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
true.
when they constantly sit there and talk about mids, like, dude, that's a mid response.
but
It is.
how often do you? Yeah, it is a mid response. You guys talk about like the minutia of the strategies you're doing at work.
Never.
Exactly. That's
But
their
they're not
relationship.
invested in my work.
I think at that level of wealth, they don't look at that the same way we do.
Nah, Jason's mid. He doesn't have his own jet like the other guys.
Like Chamath.
Come on. Yeah. Chamath, man.
Just
Talk
shedding
about
on the all-in guys.
Chamath.
It was good to
has
see
taken
Sachs
some
back, by the way.
humble soup lately, huh? Who was he on? Tucker with Tucker? Like, damn.
That was a
that's
phenomenal
like-
podcast.
That was.
Really good.
Oh, highly recommend. Chamath with Tucker Carlson. It's pretty much just Chamath talking the whole time and him being kind of like reflective. And I'm honestly, he's dunking on himself half the time, but it was like it was great.
Him and Sachs are like the highest signal guys on that all-in, round
For
table.
Sure.
No, Jason's entertaining. He's a great moderator. He's entertaining.
No, he
knows
does a really
enough
good
to
job.
Be dangerous, but when it comes to like really critical insight, it's Sachs and Chamath all the way.
Hans
And I
brought
think
this up
Freebird
before.
secretly hates Elon.
You think so?
The amount he tries to avoid Elon, or the way he clams up, or he talks about Waymo but won't ever mention FSD. It's like oh yeah.
Okay. I don't get that.
He's a Google guy. His heart
He
is
is a
at Google
Google
no
guy.
matter what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's about to have a very bad time following Waymo. So, anyway.
You were gonna say Hans. You were saying something about Hans.
Oh yeah, Hans was like, Jason actually does a pretty good job creating like natural tension. With,
I agree.
Like with there's natural tension, but that's when Sachs is around. When Sachs isn't around, you don't have that tension.
Nah,
You know?
Jason can be an asshole to Freebird,
Okay.
and I think there's tension there. Sachs will just like. Here's how I see it. Jason creates tension with Sachs, and it's almost like Jason likes being punished by Sachs. So he's like, oh, do it again. with Jason's the domineer one in that relationship. And then Chamath is like above all of them.
He's like the adult in the room.
He is the adult
He's
in
the
the room.
adult in the room, but he's also the princess in the room.
I think he's the most introspective of the four. I think he has dug deep in who he is as a person, very deep.
He has the least amount of autism of the four.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
of the two. Jason's not autistic. He's just
Holy shit. All right. We need to either end this or move to a different topic.
what are you talking
Holy
about?
shit.
People are staying on because of this conversation right now. People are like, I need more of this. I'm not
Oh
gonna
my
lie, like
God.
we're flowing right now.
Okay, so if we can get it back to Tesla here. So Uber's dead, Waymo's dead, Legacy Auto's dead. Chinese companies that are out there that want to perform well long term, they'll probably have to license FSD or come up with their own solution, which is going to be a lot harder to do, I think. Tesla bot is happening in 2026 to consumers, maybe 2027. The ramp is going to be unbelievable. FSD is 1000% happening on supervised this year, most likely in multiple markets by the end of the year, especially with a friendly federal administration, perhaps everywhere by next year. So, okay, here's the huge question. When does the market price this in?
This summer, I think.
And what does that look like? Not financial investment advice, people. This is just a bunch of
I mean,
dudes just talking.
I'm just throwing, I put my finger in the air. I'm guessing the stock price doubles from here to like 2.5 trillion market cap by the end of the summer if this
summer?
rollout in Austin goes smoothly.
Okay. So that's an $800 stock price.
I'm just throwing my finger in the air, and that's what I'm thinking based on. Like, I don't think it's going to 10x. Like 10xing a $1 trillion company is like impossible. But I think full self-driving robotaxi, when that's like imminent and evident that it's happening, it's really happening. I think the stock doubles from here to 2 to 3 trillion market cap. That's my guess.
And you think this is a FSD move or a bot move primarily, or a both move?
I think it's mostly FSD. I think a lot of the FSD robotaxi is already priced in. And let's say like it doesn't happen for some reason, like some unforeseen thing happens, or like, oh, we're never going to be safe enough to really do it. We already have the data. We know it's bad. I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, if they're like, oh, robotaxi is probably not going to happen in the next few years now, I think the stock gets cut in half or more because I think so much of that is priced into the current market cap.
Nick?
You're mad at me. You only say
I'm not
Nick
mad.
when you're mad at me. Normally you say Nico.
Okay, Nico.
If you guys know me or have ever heard me talk or anything, especially on these earning calls, I think one of the people in the community that are the highest of signals is Emmet. And so hearing Emmet say that, like, I know Emmet's going to sit there
I'm
and
wrong
downplay all
about
that
it.
shit. I
I'm
told
wrong
you.
about
He's going to do this. He's going to do this. I honestly have not seen Emmet be wrong. So to me, it's signal, not
I
financial advice,
have.
any of that crap. All that. The dude had the balls to say that when we were at 1,200, that Tesla could go down to 600, and what happened? Like, it's like these things. And I mean, he's also, everyone knows his story, which is insane. So that's one thing. But yeah, I think we start pricing this. I was going to say like 550, 800, but I was going to say that starts coming in May, like before we actually start to see this roll out. And I think you'll start seeing a lot of that build in. I was going to say like 550 to 600 by the end of the year, assuming things go smoothly and there's no crazy headlines. But I think Wall Street sucks at seeing the future, but they're really good at pricing and what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months. They're really good at that. So I can
point.
see that happening.
So, okay, Hans, go ahead. What do you think the market's going to price this in? FSD?
I suck at any of those types of like, I know that 5 years from now is crazy. I have no idea when this move happens. One of the data points that I don't know how it doesn't move the needle in a big way is the day that Tesla offers more autonomous ride hailing drives than Waymo after having launched the service.
Nice.
Like years later, like if it takes them 6 months to provide more total autonomous ride hailing rides than Waymo has had for 2 years or 3 years or however long, then like that's undeniable definitive proof that the market can look at and be like, oh, I can see this line, it looks like this, and I can see this line, it looks like that. I guess I'm going to invest in this thing. So I don't know if that's this year, next year. I think it's definitely in the next 24 months.
24 months from now, an Optimus will be starting to get priced in more hardcore to
Yeah.
the stock too.
I will say I still think it's gonna be a tough year in general just for vehicle sales. Coming back down to earth, I guess. The market's still rough. Like interest rates are holding steady. We saw what the Fed was saying today. Despite the interest rate cuts, we've seen rates go up. It's rough out there still.
Yeah, I think GM guided down for this year, right? There yesterday in their earnings, I saw something, and that's why the stock took it. So I think, yeah, you're right. Vehicle sales is going to be a tough year overall this year, maybe.
So that's something that at least kind of ground things a little bit. You'll notice that there wasn't really much discussion about vehicle growth or like forecasts on that front. But I think we have transitioned officially today from thinking about vehicle deliveries and margins and all that to a paradigm of kicking off FSD, autonomy, and just AI with Tesla, which I think, Farzad, you were making the point earlier in the stream that GM supposedly just hit gross margin positive, maybe kind of, and Tesla's about to start deploying autonomy. It's like, great, you finally almost kind of potentially caught up, but nope, now we're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I think so. What's been interesting about the Tesla story is that the market, I think the comment you made, Nico, was really insightful, is that Wall Street's slow to see the future, but once they see the next 6-12 months, they're very good at pricing it in. And historically for Tesla, they've priced it in at very high multiples, right? So I think that's how I view the next 12 months or so.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the market efficiency theory. I think it's really accurate when you look at a 6 to 12 month window. I think it's really inaccurate when you look beyond that or just future pricing things in. And I think we're in that. And I think you'll start to see a lot of this priced in, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
You have to put your head in like Tesla investors, institutional portfolio managers, and just investors in general that aren't like necessarily Tesla fanatics like us, right? Once they see that Tesla is doing what Waymo's doing and their cars cost a fraction of what Waymo cost and they're doing it, they're reading about how it can be done everywhere. Who's going to want to sell their Tesla at that point, right? The supply and demand of the stock price is going to go through the roof. And so it's going to get a really high multiple really fast. Yeah, their cars.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a double whammy effect.
The demand for the car is going to go up like crazy too.
Yeah. Even hardware 3 cars that will benefit from an upgrade should appreciate in price because Tesla just said, hey, like we will upgrade the car for you. We'll make it work. Right.
So do you think the moment that Tesla offers a paid autonomous ride-hailing ride with a car that has no LiDAR, that is like the catalyst? Everyone assumes that Tesla can't do this because they don't have LiDAR. And once they show, yes, we can, then
it won't be
boom.
like a one-day thing, like sudden, like jump. It'll be like, it might take a few weeks or a couple months to digest. That's what I say by the end of the summer. But assuming they roll it out with like at least, a few thousand cars at once, and maybe it'll be tens of thousands of cars by the end of the summer, even, I don't know, I'm not sort of imagining, then I think the stock goes through the roof,
Yeah, I think the way I'm going to think about the next 12 months is I'm going to try to model out 2027, 2028 earnings and then slap like a 50 to 100 PE multiple on it. And I think that's what the market will try to price in the next 12 months.
A squeeze.
Market is squeeze, supply and demand of the stock, the sentiment, the psychology of people, but also more importantly, like how do you imagine the total addressable market to be for Tesla when it's completed its transition to this new technology? And then I
everything
think, okay,
breaks.
Yeah, everything breaks, and a company that's dominating that space certainly commands like a 3 trillion market cap, in my opinion.
The interesting, I'll say thought experiment, but I think the big question is once Tesla gets true for autonomy and we start seeing it deploy in all these different cities, states, countries, whatever, the question to me is, do they pull forward Optimus potential because they see what Tesla was able to execute with the FSD and they say, damn, they did this, what they said they were going to do. Optimus is inevitable. Like I just wonder about that. Or is it one of those things again, like, okay, yeah, all right, you did autonomy, that's easy, like
Yeah.
roads, like whatever. Like, do they play that game, or do they say, okay, we're not missing out on this again?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I mean, it's going to always feel this Tesla stock's always going to feel expensive to anyone, you know, and then the Optimus will be priced in, like you said, and it's just going to be even crazier. Like the stock will go up to like suddenly 5 trillion market cap. Be like, why is the total addressable market for road taxis is only 3, they can only generate this much right now. Why would it have a 5? But they're not realizing that Optimus is starting to get priced in already at that point.
Well, there will be people out there that are going to be like, how is a car maker like Toyota being priced at $5 trillion market cap? This is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a car. Yeah, it's way beyond that at that point. I mean, he's always got some good posts and stuff, but he made a good post earlier of like the people shorting Tesla as a car company are like idiots right now. Yeah, so many people still short Tesla as a car company. I mean, that's like
It's unbelievable.
You're in the wrong industry if you're doing that.
So what I want to hear from Emmet, if he's willing to share, is how are you thinking about the way to structure options around that time? Like when you see, I mean, we're kind of assuming right now that they actually deliver on the June date, do their first rides, but whenever those first rides in Austin start happening, what are you thinking?
I mean, I think it's the safest thing to just go farthest out. You know, when you get closer, like you don't know if it's going to get delayed, like something happens, or Elon's never correct with his time, or not often correct with his time. As we get closer, we'll get a better idea of whether it's really going to be June or if it's going to be Elon time, meaning like end of this year or whatever. So shorter term options are too risky, I'd say, until you have more information. I like the longer, furthest out expiry option just for that reason with Tesla. And, you know, when you have that going as well, you have to worry about the macro market, because what if some like AI doomsday scenario is like happening and the market gets like cut down by 90%, and you know, like I don't know, you just never know. So don't put all your money in options is my lesson, but I can go farthest out possible with a small amount of your investable portfolio and some call options, you know, like 600 strike, something like that.
To circle back to the whole,
But that's not investment advice. I'm just saying, like, that's just like if you had play
Good thing you
money
said
to
that.
like, you had some play money, you're just like, I'm just gonna try something out. You know, that's an idea. Like, put a small amount and be willing to lose all of that, because you just never know.
if you've never been burned with the options, it is
Sucks.
painful.
I've been burnt many times,
Yeah.
but when you succeed, it's great. But you can get burnt so many times too.
Anyone investing in options, make sure you actually understand what you're doing. It's crazy that I see how many people post on X and I hear what they're saying or see what they're saying. Like, you have no idea what you're doing.
He's talking about me.
No, it's like, I mean, you see people like they don't understand the Greeks. They don't understand how volatility plays into it. Like, it's like, wow, guys, come on. Like, you gotta do a little more research. This guy, Shy Blue, may I'm butchering your X handle. He posted a clip saying, just to correct the prediction of a quote person supervising Hans and Farzad. He put this clip
Safety
in.
driver guarantee.
It's Elon saying that nobody in the vehicle. So this might be an Elon prediction, but I'm just giving a shout out to someone who tagged all of us that it's at least, we'll see what happens, but it's
Austin's not going to allow them to charge for rides without a safety driver.
You think so?
To launch, they'll drop it after the data has proven, but like at launch, it's going to launch with the safety.
Yeah, I would be shocked if they don't have a driver. In the
friendly
driver's
wager.
seat.
Farzad,
I already have
buy
Tesla
your
calls
son-
going. I'm good.
Yeah,
You don't think Elon and Trump can talk the Austin local officials into it?
I don't know. I think that's even if they do, how many they need to
Have
hire?
it.
He might help him out. He might help him out. I don't know. I think that's going to be, even if they have safety drivers, who cares?
It's not going to be as sensational for the stock if they have safety drivers.
agreed.
I think there needs to be a Waymo type experience.
Yeah.
Waymo had to
Yeah,
launch
but
with
that
safety
wasn't
drivers.
no one talked about it with safety drivers. Now people talk about it because there's no safety. It's like a whole
Guys,
other
Well,
thing.
because they crossed the
Tesla.
threshold.
This is Tesla.
Yeah, but
We
now
don't
everyone
need
talks
safety
about
drivers.
it. No one's going to talk about Tesla as self-driving if there's a safety driver. It's going to be like no news, you know? It's like, oh, whatever. We'll talk about it, but no
Yes.
one else outside of our
Okay,
sphere.
so delay by 6 months. So whatever we're
Farzad.
talking about, push it out.
No,
6
Elon
months.
doesn't want to do that. He wants to show. He's ready.
Listen to this guy. Listen to him. He's right.
He's
so
ready to show the
freaking-
world.
I think probably the thing I've posted more than anything is listen to people who are right a lot. Emmet is right a lot.
Okay.
Farzad,
Well,
bet.
let's
Here's a
put it
wager.
I'm not
Here's a
gonna
wager.
bet on this because if
No,
it
hear me out. You
works,
don't-
I'll
you
be
don't know what the
pleasantly
bet is yet.
surprised. No,
You don't know
because
what the
I'm not
bet is
even
yet.
that. I'm not that like married to
I
the
guarantee
idea.
you say yes to this bet. If I'm right, you buy my son 1 share. If you're right, I buy your son a share. See, told you. So that your son might have 2 shares now.
Perfect. I love it.
There we go.
Okay. All right. We're 4 hours in. Anything else? I'm hungry.
What are you gonna eat?
Me too.
My wife cooked something. I smell it.
It's so funny you say
Mm.
that. My wife literally just texted me, "Have you eaten yet?"
Yeah. Yeah. I can smell it in the house. I'm freaking salivating. All right. So thank you all very much for joining us. This was awesome. It went pretty damn good for Tesla investors. Tomorrow's going to be very interesting to see how the market reacts. We're launching a brand new series on this channel on Friday. It's called the Giga Cast, and you'll see what it's all about on Friday. It's going to be pretty exciting. Brand new project. It'll be weekly. And yeah. And probably I'll drop a video tomorrow too on once I collect my thoughts a little bit and crazy implications. Unbelievable. Good job, everybody. Well done. All right. Any last words
chatting.
before we end the stream?
Just congratulations to Matt. So happy.
Yes, congratulations, Matt.
Congrats, Matt.
Child number 7. Got to
That's
keep
right.
the population
Beast.
going. He's doing
Insane.
his part.
Prolific.
Yeah.
That dude's
Prolific. The plastic in his balls ain't getting in his way.
nope.
That's for damn sure.
I think his
Shout out
Elon
to
impressions have been helping him somehow.
I think he's on a mission to surpass Elon.
Yeah. He's gonna try to get to, like,
He's doing an impression of Elon having more kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Nuts. All right, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.